Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Hermitpack here on the Hermitcraft modded Minecraft 1.10 server. In the last episode we built a slime farm and I was looking for interesting ways to kill these slimes, and we've come up with this. I had a suggestion to use the wither and I thought that's fantastic, we could send all of the slimes into the wither and they would get destroyed. Problem is, they're not getting destroyed, they're actually grouping up and causing a lot of problems here. You see, the wither is contained inside of a wither cage. It's possible that there could have been another way to do this, but my thinking was, well, we got to contain the guy so he doesn't go around destroying our farm, and this is the best way that I know. But of course, it blocks the projectiles they shoot inside those blocks. And that noise is horrendous. I can't get any closer than that. And that means that they don't actually do any damage to the slimes. So the ones that are taking damage at the front there, I believe, are being squished into the blocks in front of them. So the big ones can't go through this gap because it's not 3 blocks high. And then the small ones eventually start to get pushed back or occasionally go through like that one. We have made a mess. There is no other way to describe it. And that's good because if we can't do this, I do actually have another idea on how we could kill these slimes. Okay, slight problem. I believe that those slimes are actually pushing the wither forward because occasionally its projectile, there you go, can come out and hit me. Lucky for me though, I've got my weapons here. Otherwise we might be in a little bit of a problem. Should be able to kill this guy. It's going to be a toll on my ears though. This sounds horrendous here. Are you ready for it? I hope that you're ready for it. Because there they go. That was kind of crazy. Awesome. So we are going to kill these pesky slimes using vanilla Minecraft potions, splash potions. I thought that would be a fun and interesting way to do it because we can spam potions at them, but also it gives us an incentive to build a potion factory in Modded, which is a project I've always liked the sound of. Now, I was thinking, where are we going to build our factory for these potions? This area here looks pretty good because it's flat, and choosing the path of least resistance means we'll get more done. And so first thing I set out to do is to stop these mobs spawning, since I didn't want to light up this entire area and jump straight into things. So I was having a look at the, what was it again, the aversion obelisk, and I noticed that there is the relocator obelisk, and this thing right here says relocates mobs that spawn within its area of effect. So it's basically an aversion with some prismarine around it. These guys, man, they're like snipers just shooting you from miles away. So anyway, I put it down here, and it uses soul vials just like the other one does. Now I don't know where it's going to relocate to, but I figured what we'd do is capture the mobs that start spawning, chuck them into here, and then they'll get relocated. We kind of need one where there's 2 at the moment, and a witch would be exactly that. So if we grab this witch here, there are other ones nearby, hello, and we'll put you into this obelisk, and then you should get relocated somewhere. And I don't know where. Maybe there's another step to this. I've literally just placed the block down because we got 2 witches still hanging out. It's clean up time right now. Oh my goodness me. This shuriken gets a workout all of the time. Oh, and did you see it work? Did you see a couple of things teleport over then? What are we up to? Wow, we're approaching the legendary level. We'll get that in no time actually. Just 800. Bam, I think that spider right there just got zapped over. And that husk just spawned, but it didn't get teleported over. I've been trying to suss out what's going on here. So it does move the mobs, moves it closer to them. We just saw 2 more spiders get teleported over. Seems to be a rather large range around it that it drops them in. So we'd need a much bigger pit than this one. But the other thing is, once it's teleported them over here, it doesn't seem like it teleports them again if they walk away and follow me. So we either need a bigger pit or some other sort of solution. I'd like to try to use this since we haven't done it before, so a bigger pit is what we're going to dig. For this experiment, we shall need one of you, hi, and also one of your foes, this fella right here. So I've dug a bigger pit, and I do believe all the mobs to get relocated fall into this pit now, which is fantastic. We may have inadvertently made a mob farm over here, a quite useful one as well, because all the mobs that teleport in the area will get dropped into this place. If we can kill them, then we get their drops. And I think most of the stuff here we're already farming, but magma cream we're not, string we're not, and there are other mobs we can add to this thing as well, which is why I put squid and guardians in over here. If you look at the bottom left, you can see all the ones that we are currently relocating. There are 2 husks, and that's because one of those was a baby husk, but I don't think it makes a difference. So the range is supposed to be 160 blocks. That might actually be 80 blocks in one direction and 80 the other, so this might be a little bit far away, but I have seen some squid spawn a little bit closer, and never have I seen them get teleported, and I am yet to pick up any ink sacs. Because I was thinking, well, if I haven't seen them get teleported, maybe they fell down and died, but they didn't drop anything because of our magnet would have picked it up, right? Spontaneity is good, you know. I like how this project has sort of emerged out of nowhere. I had different plans for today's episode, and now I'm thinking about how this thing could work. So down the bottom here, what we're going to do is put a whole bunch of spikes down for the mobs to land on, and then here we're going to have a dimensional transceiver so we can use a vacuum chest, and I was thinking it would probably be smart if we started using this for items as well. I will probably come back and rename that. So if we receive items on Asuma's witch farm, then we can easily go into our base and put that into our system. So as well as that, we want to receive power as well. Bam. And then we want to put our vacuum chest on top of it. And if this thing shows us the range, I do believe it just so happens to be perfect. Yes, look at that. It goes all the way to the edge. So I brought some conveyors with me thinking we might need like a block perimeter around the outside to push the mobs in, but it just happens to be the right range. So that will pick up everything. And then what we have here are some spikes. This is from where I made the shulker farm. So we didn't have a lot of diamonds at the time. So I've only got a few of these. We'll put those ones in the middle. These will drop player-based items. So if it kills a witch... Actually, no, that's a bad example. Never mind, never mind. What we're talking about here is, let's say you kill a mob with full damage. That's the kind of thing that iron would give you. If there are additional drops you get when you kill it as the player, that's the one the diamonds will give you. And I was about to say, the reason that we have more of these iron ones is because we used these on the shulker farm, so we didn't have a lot of diamonds at the time. We now have a ton of diamonds. Why am I placing these down? I eventually want to swap them all over to diamonds. Okay, let's turn this sucker on. I gotta say, I'm excited a little bit here because... Oh, something went down there straight away. And the vacuum hopper isn't on. It is off by default, is it not? Oh, wow! Spiders drop... Well... That, I guess that's fair. A creeper just dropped down on me. I should have disabled it first of all. Did I actually turn that on? What did I do? Always that. Not again, not again. We got to make some more diamond spikes then. But otherwise, it looks like this is working. The full damage seems to do quite a lot. And then the diamond spikes kill them pretty quickly. Which is what we would be aiming for, right? To kill them quickly so it doesn't cause problems for the server. This might seem like a bit of a strange place to put it, but it's the one place in my base where we have a dimensional transceiver directly next to our cables for our network. So I've attached an external storage here. That's the wrong type, isn't it? I should really put an importer there, otherwise it's going to treat it like a chest rather than take items from it. So the vacuum chest has now emptied itself. I didn't hit record quick enough. We've got an item conduit here taking the items down because you need one of those. It doesn't go directly to this dimensional transceiver. And some of you may have commented already, yep, I put it on receive. I'm so used to clicking receive when I use these things. That is now sending items into our base. I'm going to go check that the importer works fine. But that's this thing done. We can leave it running now. At some point we need to do aesthetics and we probably need to rearrange some of these mobs. Like we could add some and probably remove the guardian and squid. But there you go, we've sort of built a mob farm that's going to provide us with lots of extra materials. So initially, what I pictured us doing was creating all of the sand generation, the conversion into glass and bottles on site over there where we're going to build our factory. But then I realised we really need to take advantage of refined storage, because if we look at what we got here, we've got lots of sand already, we got glass, and we got bottles as well. And we're getting these from our farms. We already have a sand generator that's chunk loaded and it fills up this thing constantly, which should still be full, but I can't open it because there is now a cable above it because we are chaining this little bit right here. So the idea is that we're using detectors to say, you know, 10,000 sand is what we want in our system. If not, I'm going to emit a signal and you're going to extract it from this chest. And then the chest is also providing our alloy smelter over here with the means to make glass. And again, this thing runs off of the same principle. So if we don't have 10,000 glass in the system, then it's going to start transferring from one side to the other, and then this thing is going to import the glass back into the system. So all of that's taken care of right there. The next thing that I want to do is make a little crafting extension here for our glass bottles. So if ever there is under 10,000 glass bottles, it will then craft them back up. And then our other system that we have for the potions can just tap into the refined storage, and we'll always have 10,000 bottles available, which is more than enough. I love how compact this little row of machines right here is. And we won't get to see this one in action. Well, actually we can if we adjust the number here, but we'll have to change it back after. I don't think that works. Let's change it to 12. Hi, there is some lag going on. I'm typing and nothing's appearing. E, hello, numbers? No, okay, it's letting me type them now. Oh, there it goes again. Having some lag spikes over here. So 12,000, right, and now the machine is rolling. So over here we've got an exporter which exports from refined storage into a chest. So we're going to store a stupid amount of glass right there. Could have probably done with a smaller container, but whatever. This thing works with a chest either side of it, so it should be crafting that right now, as it is active with a signal, which is currently getting. And it might be a case of everything is happening too fast, so if we remove the importer, is this thing... Right, it's not filling up, is it? Maybe I've missed a step here. We might have to sort of define... So we have pull on this side to pull from the chest and put it in the crafting bench, and then we have push on that side to export it into this chest, which means this is slowly filling up. So let's go and put our importer back on. We'll also add a filter just in case something else manages to get in there, and then that'll take them and put them into the system. Last thing to do though is to put this pack down to 10,000. Cool, and there it is. Do you know, I kind of wish I'd built a better behind the scenes area for putting all of these little machines. You live and you learn. I see a lot of other players when they play modded, they tend to build big open rooms with not a lot of decoration, and then they chuck all their machines in it. And I'm starting to learn why, because if you want to decorate a base, it becomes difficult because you always need to put down little things like this, right, to make stuff happen. This thing can be pretty mesmerizing, and I was wondering to myself, how is this doing so well? It's the middle of the day, and then I realized all the caves underground haven't really been lit up in this area. We've not done a lot of caving around here. They just get teleported in constantly from the caves where they're spawning. So it's kind of amazing because you don't even need to condition the area. It's literally using the mobs spawning in the caves to bring them over here and create drops for you. Do you know what else is mesmerizing? Standing in front of this thing and watching the netherwarts fly over to you. We're using a Torturino, not something I'm going to use in our final farm. The only time I ever use Torturinos is for testing things like that. You know, speed it up, find out how it works. So thanks to Quark in this mod, replanting is made easy because you can right click to harvest. Except it needs to be fully grown first, right? Let's break the one behind it so I can show you me doing it. And now I need to remove things from my hand. Great. Okay, there we go. Bam. So if I right click on it, it gets harvested, right? But it stays there. The netherwarts are still there. So we can just use a single mechanical user, which is always on. It requires no configuration. And then in the middle of this, we would have a vacuum hopper to pick up all of the netherwarts. So we can actually make like something the same size as that, because that's the maximum range for one of those things. This is quite the grind, but these are the last ones to be done. Got this down to a science now. Double click, single click, shift click, and then it's done. Pretty cool, right? Notice how there's some husks hanging out here? Well, I've learned that social spawning zombies don't get tracked by that thing over there. So I'll kill these, some new ones will spawn nearby, like that guy, and he won't get teleported over to this thing. Oh, and by the way, I put a blue slime on this thing, and I've seen it pick up blue slimes from the island up the top there. It tends to do that in the game, so it's also a slime farm after all that hard work that we've done. You guys make a lot of noise, by the way. I've also added another little obelisk down the bottom here. And let's disable this before I go down there. Oh no, I didn't put it down the bottom in the end. I put it right here. Okay, so check out this thing. That seems to be some sort of visual glitch. This is the inhabitor obelisk, and its range is 32, so I didn't bother to upgrade this because it will stop Enderman teleporting away. So my thinking was we bring them over here, they drop down there, and they teleport off as soon as they take damage. So this thing should stop it from teleporting away. I have yet to observe it do that because it's making a lot of Enderman sounds at the moment. There's also a chap over here who doesn't seem to be teleporting about, so not 100% sure if it works. So there is a rule with recording. Try not to record it nice, it doesn't look as good. And lots of mobs will be around you making lots of noises. Now you guys shouldn't be able to spawn again, so good riddance to you. Yeah, this thing over here, the Enderman noises, is actually just from... Oh, there's the blue slimes. Just from the mobs being teleported over here to begin with. Anyway, here is this thing. It is the same size as that thing. 13 blocks in each direction, which I've just gone through and configured all of these. I will have to keep my eye on it, though, and notice if there's any that haven't grown fully, because maybe I missed, like, the odd one. But the rate doesn't seem to be fast enough. So far, we've got 55 nether warts, and the way that I want to pump out potions in this place, do you know what? It probably is going to be fast enough, but I want to create a big stock. I want to have like 1,000 of each potion, so it'll take us a while and a lot of warts to get to that. But once we've actually got it, we won't be using the potions all the time, so this will probably do. And in the middle there is the vacuum chest or the vacuum hopper and a dimensional transceiver, which is taking the items back into our system over there. If you're wondering what these blocks are, well, I'm just planning out a path. You see, we're going to have a new type of path over here that doesn't take us long to build. It's going to go through these buildings, around the corner. It will probably branch off across there, and then it will go in a straight line down here. So we'll have a building for this thing one day. I want to do a big old building for our nether wart farm and, you know, industrial potion area. And then this path could actually continue and go to the ziggurat in the center, which I haven't forgotten about, but I haven't done a lick of this since the live streams that we focused on. I do want to get back to building that and finishing. It's just one of those things. Once you've left it for a while, you kind of get lazy and forget to go back over there and finish it. One of the first things to do is to make sure we've always got 1,000 blaze powder. So using this system down here, it's going to turn on this crafting recipe for the blaze powder down below. Only work with redstone signal, that's correct. If we check in here and type in blaze, we should see, yep, the number is going up. Awesome. So this means we've always got blaze powder for brewing. If you notice anything different on the screen, it might be because we just updated to 1.6. It is a Tuesday as I record this, and the pack got updated halfway through recording. And I've turned off the minimap, I've put back on the little thing in the bottom left. If there's anything that I've missed, be sure to let me know. Anyway, I've sort of sussed out pretty much 99% of this brewing thing. We're just struggling with a little bit of redstone at the moment. So first of all, let me show you the easy stuff to understand. Taking the potions out of this thing is going to be super easy because we're going to brew one type of potion in each stand. So below we have a filter for that, and whenever there's regular water bottles or halfway there potions, it doesn't matter because our filter will tell it to match the MPT. As soon as the potions are finished brewing, this will take it out and this will go into our storage system, so that's good. Then the one behind it needs to bring in water bottles into here, although what we're going to do is make them awkward potions. So we're going to have like a pre-brewer that only does awkward potions with our nether warts. That reduces the amount of ingredients we need to cycle through here, so hopefully it'll be a little bit quicker. And it will also import blaze powder. So on one side we'll have our blaze powder. Well, actually they'll come from the same side, but this is like a visual representation. And the other one will be for those awkward potions. So the way that we're going to put our ingredients into this is using hoppers. Some vanilla hoppers, because there's probably a modded alternative, but this one works in a way that I can understand it with my brain, if you know what I mean. So if we go up to this height and put some blocks here, let's say our potion has... Actually, that is at the wrong height. Let's say it has 3 ingredients. I've got some droppers here. There's also an iron dropper. This is just basically like a dropper that's got some more options. So you can tell it like how frequently it can be activated. You can make it do sound effects or particle effects or both when it dispenses, which is pretty cool. There's a whole bunch of options there, but we're going to use the vanilla droppers facing downwards. Although if I did use those, I could turn off the sound that they make, but it'll be a load more configuring, and I've done loads of that with these blocks over here, so we will avoid that. So these droppers are going to put the ingredients in the order that they need to be inserted, and with the design we're going to use, if it needs 4 or for some reason 5 ingredients, there's space going back here for more hoppers and more droppers facing downwards. So to get the items in, we use item filters, and this is just hooked up to our storage system, so that bit's nice and easy. Now to power them, we use redstone conduits, so that bit's also nice and easy, except I'm holding down shift, which is not what you do when you want to add these. There will be a lot of like manual configuring here, because I'm going to have to go through... Hi, that should connect them. There you go, a little bit of lag. Because I'm going to have to go through and make sure that this row here doesn't connect to the next one, and also that it powers in a way that it doesn't power the next dropper. Is that possible? Is that an option of this? There is, isn't there? I'm sure there is somewhere, like strong signal. I'm looking at the wrong thing. There it is, strong signal. So I think this signal not a strong one, would only power that dropper and not the one next to it. So this next problem could be one of three things. It could be a modded issue, it could be a vanilla issue, or it could be not behaving the way that I thought it would. So we got a signal strength here of 12 coming from this comparator. And in here we only have 3 bottles, all of the blaze powder, but we don't have an ingredient. And like I said, it could be one of those things because when we put the ingredient in, I expected this to be full strength signal and it stays at 12, which means we can't use the ingredient being in here or not to detect what's going on because it's always going to have 3 potions in and it's always going to have the blaze powder thanks to the way these item filters work. So I scratched my head for quite some time about that one, and then eventually it occurred to me to look away and look at something different, and that would be the hopper above. So when we put the ingredients into here, this is going to be powered, right? And then when it runs out of ingredients, we can get a signal. Now, at the point it runs out of ingredients, we will actually have one still in here, but that shouldn't be a problem because when the ingredients go into the hoppers above again, this thing will turn on straight away, and then when the brewing down below is done and an item passes from here down below, the item filters mean it will take out the correct potions as they swap over, and it will do that quickly, so then we'll be brewing the correct potions again, right? So that should work fine. All I've got to do now is figure out the logic, because as well as telling this thing to continue brewing, I also want to add a switch where we can come over here and say that's enough. In fact, that switch will be automatic. It'll be done with a detector. So this thing will have like a maximum amount of potions in our storage system, and it will automatically override this system. I just got to figure out what the logic is there. Well, this machine is a nightmare to build. I actually thought this would be the simplest bit and I wouldn't really need to talk about it too much. Tried a bunch of different modded blocks, so I thought, well, we'll go to the dispenser then. Why do I think that dispensers fill up water bottles? I don't know why that got in my head, but that's not actually a mechanic. As you can see here, it just dispenses it into the water rather than filling up the bottle. It's time for us to put a stop to this for now. My time is running short again, and I think I'd like to switch up what we're doing here as it's starting to get technical, fiddly, and that is always time consuming. So I tweeted out about this problem that I'm having, got a suggestion to use got a suggestion to use forestry. There we go, that's where the re bit came from. This looks complicated to me. I will go and look it up, but my experience with the forestry mod is that everything is quite detailed and intricate and not so straightforward and vanilla-y. I like it when blocks work like they do in vanilla, you know, when they don't require a lot of setup, because then it's straightforward and easy to learn. The other suggestion was to use the fluid grid, which is a part of RS storage. Now what we would see here is fluids, which could be stored in the same way that this stuff is here. So I'm assuming if we made a fluid storage block, then there would probably be some sort of way to import water into the system, and then possibly an auto crafting recipe could make the bottles for us. That would be the least interesting way, but I just kind of want to get it done. So we're going to leave this one as is for now. We have another problem to take care of because we are getting tons and tons of mobs over here. Things like creepers are fine, they drop gunpowder. Occasionally they like to get teleported. I think that's inside the obelisk because the glass wouldn't actually suffocate them, would it? But there are some other mobs that are filling up our storage system, and a moment ago I couldn't craft anything because it had all backed up, and so I had to add some more storage. I have been fighting a... what's the phrase? Fighting a something tide. This is always filling up with items, and I can never quite keep ahead of it. So, you know, tons of stuff here, tons of stuff there. The chest that is the culprit and shows you what's going on is this one. We are getting loads of these now, so I need to filter them out of the system. I just had an inexcusable case of brain fart. I started rambling on about how I didn't know how to get items out of our system if they're in lots of different chests. Yet I use this all the time, the exporter. I know exactly what we're doing here. How ridiculous. Anyway, over here we have compare MBT and compare damage. They've been turned off. And I was thinking, well, what if I had a bow I wanted to keep? At the moment, I don't. We don't use a bow. I've probably got one that I did use that it's going to chuck away with cool enchantments on. I don't care. We're going to get rid of these things, and I don't think you see them blink into here as well. So if we go up here, we might be lucky enough. That looks like some gaps from maybe where bows were. There were some in here. Yeah, we're probably not going to be lucky enough to see those ones get exported straight away. But what I do have And the server is slow today. Is some speed upgrades so we can make this thing run nice and fast. So it should start exporting those bows, and it should not look for damage or the MBT. And there they go, straight away. They're all gone. So that's a sign that that worked, right? But our next problem is that there's going to be quite a lot of items, and we can only put 9 in here. So we're going to need to make several of these exporters, and I think we need a better place to put them. But let's chuck these things in and see if it can do the job. You saw that there were some chainmail armor in the last one that we looked in, which was the third from the end, right? And bam, it's gone. Awesome. Although, didn't I just put in a helmet and a chest plate? We still got a helmet there. Maybe I didn't actually put those ones on. Well, the helmet I didn't, but the chest plate was still there. Let's see what happens now. Right, both the helmet and the chest plate are gone. It's working. Excellent. Look at what happens when I hold down shift. Do you see it? Did it grab your attention? Cave spider. That's a new thing. I like it. It's cool. It's like really unexpected. There I was running back and forth, and then I realised, wait a minute. We can do it like this. We can search in and find out the junk that's in there and then get it removed. I think I've missed a step with configuring this little setup, and now you're wondering what's going on here. Yeah, I'm supposed to do that. So I decided that this thing should have its own little interface somewhere, and so we've got 6 exporters here. We could in theory make it 9 by looking into the gaps behind it, but probably won't do that. If we need the space, I'll probably build another one further down there. So you know where we are. We're down under here, and I've been running back and forth looking into chests, forgetting that I can search for everything with the wireless grid. So these things are getting speed upgrades. I'm just sort of organising what goes into each chest. We don't want to compare the data on these things. And how much further along did I get? Well, anyway, I've been picking out things that need to be scrapped, that drop by mobs, and this just makes things easier in the long run. I was thinking about our gold farm. Like, we don't need to filter stuff out there. We can have all of our farms just chuck items straight into the system and filter it out here. So it's like a universal filter, which is going to make life a lot easier. Alright, that is all done, taken care of, and I've been thinking a lot about the next time I live stream. There's things I want to tidy up and work on around the place, and something I've been thinking about how to do for a while. I now know how to do. It's really weird that I've been using exporters, yet I haven't sort of fully integrated them into my thinking system about how we do things here. I want to get a lot of the items we now have in this place over here from up there in our temporary storage down into its proper storage. Like there's witch hats scrambled through those chests that are just taking up space. So what we could do is put an exporter on the back of this, and that way bring it into the system. Which is, I was about to say pretty smart, and then I'm like, well, not really, but you figured out how to do it now, so I guess it's all good. So I do hope you have enjoyed this episode. That is all I've got time for today. If you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like as always. Thank you for your support on these videos, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.